Pisces, this is your week ahead astrology forecast by Astrology Motivation from Born Without Boundaries. In this video, we discuss the major planetary aspects and transits that are happening and how they impact your natal sun for the week of, for this week, June 7th through the 13th. I've got it all written down, ready to go for you. We're going to start really broad, like those things that everybody should know, everybody. And then I'm going to focus things down into the Pisces specific energies that you guys should really be aware of. And then we'll break things down into the decans. And the decans are going to help us really pinpoint your natal suns and what's actually impacting you specifically. A decan is a group of 10 degrees. There are 3 decans in every zodiac sign because each zodiac sign has 30 degrees in it. And 10 degrees is sort of that maximum point that an aspect even exists. So it's really important that you know that where your sun falls or lives in the zodiac sign of Pisces really impacts how you're going to be experiencing the energy, because it could be totally different from another Pisces. So we're gonna dig into that. You don't have to know the exact degree that your sun is sitting in Pisces. You can just know your birth date, because what I will do is I will translate the decans into estimated birth date timelines for you guys, so you'll know about who I'm talking about. So all you really need to know is your birth date for this video. But if you really want to get specific and you love astrology, go get your natal chart. Absolutely. If you don't have it, it's free. You can get it online in many different places. Just search free natal chart. Bring your birth date, which you already have, your birth time, and your birth location. Bada bing, bada boom, you got a natal chart, and you could just dive into astrology from there. So let's start really big, right? The big stuff. So what is the big stuff this week? Well, 2 major transits. I got to go back. 2 major transits are happening this week, and that is Mercury. Actually, they're both happening on the 11th of June. Mercury is transiting into its home domicile of Gemini, which is a really kind of playful, intelligent, bright, witty energy. It's very friendly, friend-based, lots of friendly conversations, lots of education and thought and learning from others. Also, delivery systems, communication could be also lots of gossip. And as Mercury transits into Gemini, it is trine to Pluto. In fact, it's trine to Pluto this whole week. And that is some major energy, because when Mercury and Pluto get together, they're very investigative. They're very magnum PI. They dig down. They get the scoop. And this harmony is almost the harmony of the trine is saying, it's healing something. Like, this is information that needed to be discovered or found out, or we needed to accept or find out, learn different aspects of ourselves in an inclusive way, because Pluto's all about the dark aspects that we intentionally try to hide away, and a trine to Mercury is maybe talking through that, discussing it, or at least just being able to grasp it and embrace it. So that's really beautiful energy. We also have Pluto transiting back into Capricorn, because it is retrograding back into Capricorn. It'll move from 0 degrees Aquarius to 29 degrees Capricorn this week, once again on the 11th, as it is trine to Mercury. Now, so those are 2 major transits kind of happening at the same time as they trine each other. That's already big news, but Pluto is also in opposition to Venus in Leo, which is a very kind of self-centered, kind of arrogant energy. It's a very egotistical energy. It's in opposition to Pluto, so there's something breaking down. There's something being challenged here, and inevitably it will be discussed because Pluto is trine to Mercury. We also have this square between Venus and Jupiter. So Venus is square Jupiter, which makes everything exaggerated and everything excessive eating, excessive spending. This is something we all have to watch out for. But in opposition to Pluto, this could be the breaking point. This is just not a good week to buy a house or sign a mortgage or make any big purchases. This is kind of like break the bank kind of stuff. So be aware, it could be breaking the bank in a global sense as well. Not really sure how that's going to go down, but Mercury did just retrograde and spend a lot of time in Taurus, and it's delivering information, trine to Pluto, into Gemini, which will easily spread the word like the old game of telephone that we used to play as kids, while Venus, which still rules finance and money wherever it is in Leo. There's a lot happening and going down this week as we talk about all these transits that are going to impact everybody globally. But I think that personally, these are value systems are changing. You know, these are how you feel about yourself that are changing. Like the beauty that you see in the world and that you see in you and who you're attracted to and what you think is valuable and worth it could be going through some major upheavals. This is a challenging time for relationships, at least weak relationships. This will basically weed out the weak relationships and break them in two, cast them against the rocks. We also have a very actually peaceful and healing energy of Chiron trine to Mars. So Mars is in Leo and Chiron is still in Aries. And they will be trying to each other this week. This is major healing, especially when it comes to our physical selves, our personal selves, our bodies, and how we handle and treat ourselves. So that actually could be a very good sign that health or energy could be being restored. So let's get into the Pisces specific energy, shall we? Pisces specific energy revolves around your ruling dignitaries or what's happening in the zodiac sign of Pisces. So the zodiac sign of Pisces actually has two big planets in it. It's got Saturn at 7 degrees. And if you follow the charts, you'll realize that it's not moving this week. It's what I call, or what we call, stationary. It's gone stationary because it appears that it's not moving. It's 7 degrees and it stays 7 degrees all throughout the week, because by next week Saturn will enter its retrograde period. We already have Pluto in retrograde. Saturn will enter retrograde. Coming up, so will Neptune enter retrograde. This happens, at least for a long time now since I've been around the summertime. So it's actually a really good time to kick back and be reflective and let things slow down. At least it's summertime up here in the northern hemisphere. I would assume these retrogrades are super irritating in the southern hemisphere, where you're gearing up and it's still definitely work season for you. So it's hard because you can't get a lot done, but you really shouldn't. It's very reflective energy and it's begging you to slow down. So Saturn will actually go officially retrograde next week, but you'll already start to feel the slowing down happening this week. And that's happening at 7 degrees Pisces. We also have Neptune, which is your ruling dignitary, at 27 degrees Pisces. It moves very slow. It's not going into retrograde yet, though it will be going into retrograde shortly. It's still there. It's still there. Neptune in Pisces is 150,000% in its dreamy unpredictability. What it's interacting with, we do have to pay attention to. So Neptune is sextile to Pluto, which will be for the next 12 years. That means major upheavals and religious, almost come to Jesus moments. We also have Neptune this week sextile to Mercury, which means a lot of creative communication, eloquent communication, creativity through music, through song, through writing. This is an exceptional time that creativity will be through the roof. And then we also have Neptune being semi-square to Mars, which means there's some sort of friction with getting things done because of the nebulous or the confusion. Jupiter, your traditional ruler, which still definitely impacts you, always keep an eye on where Jupiter is still in Taurus. It's at about 5 degrees Taurus now. It's still conjunct the north node and opposite the south node, so it's really expanding and pushing for the future, but it's still square to Pluto, which makes everything extreme and exaggerated. And this week it is square to Venus, which means it makes everything excessive, like gluttonous almost. So this is some major energy that could cause a great deal of like drama, let's put it that way. Let's get into the decans. So if your natal sun falls between 0 and 9 degrees Pisces, you are a Pisces 1, because your natal sun is in the first decan of Pisces. This equates to those Pisces who are born in February. So anywhere from February 20th through the 30th, or through 29th, 28th, around there, maybe even into March 1st, is going to be a Pisces 1. So you guys, your natal suns are conjunct to Saturn, and Saturn is retrograding, so you will start to feel things slow down. Trust your instincts. Don't try to go against the grain. This conjunction to Saturn gives you a solid understanding of who you are and what you need, and you should definitely still trust that. You're still going to be sextile the North Node and trine the South Node, which means you are future focused and getting really comfortable with how your talents and skills and what you know you're good at and who you know you are is contributing to that forward motion or that forward momentum in your life. This week, you have a sextile to Jupiter, which is probably Sun sextile Jupiter is one of the luckiest, most fortunate combinations you can experience. So enjoy it. That's been happening last week. It'll happen the rest of this week, and it'll happen into next week. So you're very, very fortunate right now to have that. This is just a bunch of abundance and opportunities opening up for you. So if you've been thinking about taking a risk on something, anything, go for it. But you also have a square to Mercury beginning the 10th of June. So this week in particular, toward the end of the week, understand that you will feel like you're having your own little Mercury retrograde and communications won't be that great. It's not a great time to give a presentation toward the end of this week, or really any time during this week. If you have something really important to sign, put it off till next week. You really don't want to do anything that is that important to you when your sun is square to Mercury. Just an FYI. And then you also have a quincunx to Venus. So with a square to Mercury and quincunx to Venus, there can be some communication issues in your relationship or stuff that you forgot to balance out in your checkbook. Just an FYI. Take a second look, or have somebody you trust take a second look. And when it comes to your partner or spouse or even dating, either just be patient or don't. Just try to avoid conflict. It's not a great week to talk or meet somebody. You will fumble your words, which could be cute and awkward, but it could also be very frustrating. And there could be some, I don't think mean words, but tense words that are distributed, and just nagging or talking too much. With Mercury going into Gemini, somebody could be being too social, and that could really get under your skin. Drama is all I have to say. Gemini 2s. If you are born, Pisces 2s. I was on my Gemini, I'm on the mind. Pisces 2. So if you're born between the 2nd of March and say the 10th of March, you are a Pisces 2. This is if your natal suns are between 10 and 19 degrees Pisces. You are a Pisces 2. This is actually kind of a lighter week for you, but your sun is square to the sun. And your sun is, your sun is quincunx to Mars. What does that mean? Low energy and doubting yourself. Doubting yourself, doubting your body's abilities, doubting how your body looks or how you feel about yourself, kind of going through a mini dark night of the soul. Not really maybe that extreme, but just some insecurities coming up, and you're going to have to face them, work through them, understand yourself in a way that, I don't know, it's like when you confront those issues that you have with yourself and your insecurities, and find a way to love yourself anyway. And don't hate yourself if you're low energy. Expect it, and take some time out and really self-care and show yourself that you love yourself this week. It's really important to help you out through this energy. It'll only last about a week, so don't worry. And then we have Gemini, then we have Pisces 3. Pisces 3s, you are pretty much the last 10 days of Pisces, anywhere from like March 11th through the 21st. You got a lot going on. Your natal suns are the ones that are conjunct to Neptune, so you are basically super powered, super Pisces, extremely psychic, spiritual. This is when you're really going to connect maybe with your sense of spirituality, and those talents and skills that you didn't even know you had over the next few years are just going to be popping out of you. And this is such a beautiful blossoming time where you're going to surprise even yourself. You are going to be sextile to Pluto, so you're really finding your psychic powers and abilities and how that can help heal people and heal whatever you want to heal, and how you can make positive impact or change in the world. And your natal suns are sextile to Uranus, so there's ingenuity there, there's engineering. You could be using technology in order to do all this, or finding your skill set in technology somehow. But this week, through the 11th of this week, and through the 11th of this week, your natal suns are sextile to Mercury, which means wonderful communications, bright and articulate communications. Definitely a time for you guys to present yourself or speak and talk and really have friendly communications and exchanges this week that could open up doors for you. Reach out, email people. This is a wonderful time to communicate, to sign paperwork for you guys, for Pisces 3s. Sign paperwork. This is an excellent week for you to present or take tests. Your mind is just going to be on point. And since Mercury is heading into, or by the 11th will head into Gemini, this is just a very friendly energy, so go for it. But on the 11th, so through the 11th, your natal suns will be sextile to Mercury, and then it kind of fades out a little bit. But by the 11th, the sun now starts to square your natal sun. So I would suggest that any big movement or chance or opportunity you want to go for or communicate, go ahead and do it early on in the week, Pisces 3s. It's not that a square to sun will make you unlucky. It's just your confidence will start to wane, and so may your energy. So just an FYI. Let me know in the comments below how this energy is impacting you guys. And please remember to subscribe to the channel. My goal is to reach 10,000 subscribers by the end of the summer, and I think we can do it. And please come on over to Born Without Boundaries Tarot for your week ahead tarot card reading. I love you guys, and I'll see you next week. Bye.